Alright guys, so sorry about that delayed start. We had a meeting before we were going live today, and then when I went live, there was a total outage in my area. My bad. So, yeah, there's like a complete service outage in this neighborhood, so I'm having to record again. Not what I was expecting, sorry. Obviously, we were just fine after I had that tech come out, and then now the numbers are even worse than when he came out before, so apologies, obviously. Hopefully it's just a temporary thing. There's nothing I can do. I mean, it's definitely very frustrating, I know, but we'll get it. We'll attempt to get it figured out. So no idea what's happening other than problems at Cox. So, but today, of course, we're working on our very awesome merman here. Let me, I think the Teak Champion is the official name. Let me go ahead and pop this over here so I can see what's happening. And here we go. So, you can see pretty standard zenithal. It's only a little bit intentional in some areas. Otherwise, pretty much full blast. Look, I even got a tiny hair there. Here we go. But relatively simple. First thing we're going to be doing today is using Succubus Kiss as a base. Buzz, 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 buzz to base coat stuff. So we're going to do that. Standard 1-to-1 water to paint ratio. You know, we can take advantage of some of the zenithal, but we don't need it to be absolutely insane. And feel free to do the entire thing, entire body. That's what we're going for here. I'm gonna add a little bit more water. We really want this color to tint everything. He gave me his personal number, so shout out to him. Luckily, so what's funny is like their independent contractors are actually really great people. They're actual employees. Not the best. Not the best. And what's funny too is like whenever you have to call them to schedule them to come out to your house, they're like, all right, well, we're just going to let you know that if this is, you know, your fault and it's not our, you know, connection or hardware or anything like that, there's going to be a $75 charge that we're going to charge you. And they're like, but if you don't want to pay that, and they really try and make it sound scary, right? So then they're like, but if you sign up for $10 a month with this protection program thing, you'll never have a charge. And so like literally they're trying to sell you something while the internet you're paying for doesn't even work. It's hilarious. But anytime I have friends, it always happens because they know that I've had problems with this company before. And there's only one company other than AT&T in the entirety of the Oklahoma City area. All the connecting towns, everything. So they have a monopoly, right? But, so what's crazy is all my friends will contact me and then they all get scared about that statement. They're like, are they really going to charge me? I'm like, no. It's the only way that they would charge you is if like they showed up and you just didn't have your router plugged in, right? But all right, so that was our first application. And we're just going to wait on that to dry. Crazy, I know. All right. So we're just waiting on this to dry. We have quite a bit of layering to do to implement our, like this is bright. There we go. We have quite a bit of layering to do to implement the blue on the paint job, but once we get started, it won't be too difficult. The nice thing about Succubus Kiss, you can see it has a lot, I feel like, of the clear magenta pigment or clear red pigment in it, just because of how it dries. So you can tell, right, it looks super, super intense while it's wet, but as it dries, it totally mellows out. So, but I will go ahead and get more out onto the palette. We're going to be using this color pretty much all the way up to that Phantom Glow. Sorry, double checking a message that the guy just sent me. Just a moment. So this tech is having me test something live. 2 seconds, and then I'll have to run back over here 5 minutes from now. But so we're gonna lose our never a dull stream here, guys. Okay. Now that we need our Phantom Glow, now make sure you really shake Phantom Glow. You're gonna want to really shake that. So let's see. I'm gonna make a little house here with our mixed color. And it's pretty much 50-50, but what you're looking for is a, I guess the best way to describe it would be like a red lilac. Something close to that. A reddish lilac color. And let me actually grab my airbrush to dry this for you. But I hope you all have had a good week. It's funny, it looks like I'm doing nothing. I'm just sitting here. I can't pull it further across because I've got a new anti-drop thing installed on my airbrush setup, so it's kind of like it's like a holster almost. It's weird, but it holds onto the cord, so I can't bring the cord as far over as I typically do. Usually. And I'm wondering what happened to... It's right here. Okay. All right. Now then, we can actually get started here. Okay. So, pretty much just like any of our regular painting here. Nothing outside of the box. We're just going to be going for these lighter pinkish areas in terms of where we're placing this first highlight. And you'll notice too, right, that this color is pretty on par with our shadow color. And the whole trick to this paint job too is that we don't necessarily, like, this is just to get us our prep base colors, and then the next tone up is where we really start to build in that phantom glow. But I know I had a bit of a tough time highlighting up too quickly to the phantom glow. The pigment concentration isn't huge, so it does require a little bit more work. So that's why I'm thinking if we sort of start from this deeper purpley color, it should be a little bit easier for us in the long run. Hopefully, we'll see. I don't know if that's true or not, but we shall pretend. Now then, the fins and everything I end up doing, we're going a different direction, more orange. But we'll see this time around. This is a great miniature. In terms of bones as well, I mean, this is just a really, really good sculpt. Obviously, you can straighten out the sword a little bit better than I did this time around. I straightened it when I got it, so it's a little bit wonky. But in terms of mold line and cleanups, really the only seam that I had was just down the head, so it was very easy to clean up. And yeah, I don't know, I just really like this sculpt. I've always liked this sculpt since I ever first laid my eyes on it. Looks really good. Oops, see, look, I got a nice tea stain there. Let me go ahead and just mask it with paint. No one will ever know. And finish this base coat here. Really simple. So we're just redefining this color. You can see how it dries, right? It's relatively dull. Kind of what you're looking for. And I just want to make sure this is dry before we go any brighter. This is one of those paint jobs where you'll probably feel a lot more confident, right? Because we're not jumping around as much. And we're really only working on one skill, which is just getting that nice phantom glow up. It's a glow up. All right, give me 1 second. I'm gonna go plug that back in for this internet tech. Okay. See if that helps him out. Let me see. This could be Justin or one of the boys. Oop. Okay. Now then, what I'm going to do is grab more of our blue here. And now we're mixing this up to really just kind of a gray. It's like a bluish gray. But this is our first color on the road to success here. And add a little bit of water here. I'm going to make sure I'm not going too far too fast. We do want it to taper nicely. There we go. All right, so should we test it out? We should test it out. Looks good to me. It should look more blue than gray on your end. Once you apply it on top of this purple, it'll look way more blue. On the palette, it'll look kind of gray. I also ended up changing my palette sponge color of the cellulose sponges on my wet palette. They're actually like a dark gray. You can see that on the palette cam. I've been used to, what color was it? It was like a weird green. It's hard to find white. And when I bought these, they actually looked like a super, super light gray online. And then of course when they showed up, they're super dark gray, but it's okay. It's okay. It doesn't make too much of a difference. But this color is exactly what we're looking for. So you can see how we're transitioning already away from that deep purple. I'm leaving more of this color visible than I did the first time around on the paint job. I think it's just going to make it look way more dynamic. And you guys know, we are always trying to make the second paint job look cooler. I mean, I don't know. Is it always? I mean, I feel like it usually, happens that way. Even if this is a pre-recorded episode, sadly. But it's the best that I could do today. Totally unexpected issues. The internet tech did say that there's a lot of noise reading through my connection, so that's what's causing the intermittent connection. And nothing has really happened here, so let's see, it says I've got a connection again. Yeah, it's still messed up. I'm pretty sure. His trick didn't work. Hopefully this isn't what happened to me previously at a different address where I literally had a really bad connection up until they finally sent somebody out to replace the main line into the neighborhood, which, it can take them like weeks to send a crew out. But, so that was a little bit better. I'm going to test it again. So we were at 137 and 6. Yeah, it looks the same. Unfortunately. So then right here, these gills, I did the same color as the body. The frilly gill, I don't know what the term would be, but the individual strandy gills, we did a different color. This starting it? No, okay. Let's hop over here. To the front. And this face here, to the gills. Up to the gills. Is that a thing people say? Stuff to the gills? Okay. What's the, is it a coelacanth? Coelacanth? The super prehistoric fish? That's what this guy reminds me of a lot. So I'm going to take our LED, or sorry, LED. I always think this is LED blue. Phantom. What is it? Phantom Glow? Yeah, Phantom Glow. And I'm toning it down a little bit. So this is mostly Phantom Glow now, with a little bit of the previous color. We're just going to go section by section. I always enjoy paint jobs like this because they're very predictable, right? Like you don't really have to think too hard about them. You know what steps you need to take, right? What sections are getting highlighted next, etc., etc. Pretty stress-free. I always read comments from people that are like, you know, always have, you know, they always get very stressed in figuring out like their next highlight steps, anything like that. Well, lucky for us, right? Paint job like this, it's all skin. Assuming this is skin, scales, I don't know. But once you got the color, you know what's going to happen. So that should help those of you that struggle there in that department. Moving on to the back here. I'm really just paying attention to sort of the angle of all these different parts of the body, so that way I'm making sure the highlight makes sense here. Some areas are showing more of that succubus kiss magenta color beneath. Others are showing more of that grayish tone. Both are totally fine. Top of the head here, or well, whatever this is. I think it's still part of the head, right? The back? I don't know. I don't know what you would consider this part of a fishoid person. You could make so many fish tacos out of this guy. Whoop. And I'm just going right through the middle of the head and back, just so that we work on one side at a time. We're using the same color, right? We're probably not going to have to remix color. We got plenty on the palette, so I'm not worried about that. Which can be a concern, I know, right? Like sometimes you run out of the color that you've been mixing this whole time, and you're like, oh god. One half of this miniature is about to look way different. Okay. This tail here. Now then, if you wanted to make this really difficult for yourself, you could go in and freehand every single scale. We would never do that, though. I'm thinking this guy's skin is like catfish. You know, something like that, where you don't really deal with fish scaly scales. Instead, you just kind of have like that weird membraney slipperiness. And my consistency is pretty good here too, right? So I'm able to just use the paintbrush more of like a pencil. Just following the muscles here, pushing the highlight up to the nearest shadow on the muscles. You can see me doing that on the arms here. Let's see. It's going to be the internet tech, and he's going to say, yeah, it's messed up. Because he can read my connection. He keeps saying, the internet tech is like, are you sure the coax is good? I'm like, it's plugged in as much as it can be. I don't really know. Like, nothing has changed. Gotta love it. All right, so back this out a little bit. If we're comparing the two, you can see the progress we're making here. So you can imagine where we're headed. And this guy's going to look way more defined. I mean, he's already pretty defined the first go round. Sorry, guys. I don't know who this is either. I'm here home alone. Yes. Goodness gracious. Had to sign for a package. Super exciting. All right. Oh. Wrong brush. That's the big brush. Okay. Making sure our color's good here. I just kind of am re-looking at the arms, hands, the inside of the arm here. There we go. Whoop. The mouth. Foot. Okay. Now then, we can move on to straight up Phantom Glow, I think. We'll see. Sometimes it can be weird. Let's see. Now Collins is sending me. Everybody is just messing with me, I feel like, right now. Okay. I always feel so bad whenever the internet service provider is like crapping out on me because I can't do anything. Like you know how it goes. But at least I've got a guy on the line, right, on my phone here who's like, yeah, there's a problem, but I don't know if he can like schedule himself. I don't think he can. I think I'm gonna have to, have them send somebody new, or maybe him again, hopefully. All right, so now I've got Phantom Glow. And I'm pulling it up to the nearest shadow here on the muscles and making sure I'm highlighting all of my high points. Right, so you see how I'm doing that there. Looking good. We're going to go even brighter than this as well. We're going to mix in some white. And you can see too, right? So like the direction of the brush stroke has a lot to do with this taper effect that I get. So you can see when I was doing that, right? I'm pulling my brush up. You won't be able to get this same look if you're pulling your brush down. So it's very important to think about, right, how you are having this paint dry by your brush stroke. Really, really makes a difference depending on the consistency of your paint. Now, if you're using thick paint, right, you're just doing a simple base coat, whatever the issue, no big deal. You can slam the brush whatever direction you want. If you're outlining something, doing non-metallic metal, whatever, right, it doesn't really matter. But when it comes to wanting to create these like simple gradients, direction of the brush stroke is important because that slight variation in the pigment will in fact, right, affect the work that you're doing. So that's all I'm paying attention to here is where's that pigment going? Am I pushing it in the right spot? And you can see we are. Moving down towards the leg here. Pushing it up. Wherever I want to create these sharper lines, right? I'm not even necessarily pushing or like outlining anything. I'm just merely ending my brush stroke in a sharp line. Looking really good though. Top of the tail. Top of the tail to you, Andre. Now then I'm pushing this up at about halfway down the top of the head there. Like that. And I'll probably end up tapering that more, but I just kind of want that to dry. Okay, I'll do top of the front of the face. Down underneath the eye. All right, so let's compare the two here. You can see we're getting close. We've got way more shadow on the guy on the right, which I like. Much more defined. Moving on to the other side. Bunch of squirrels fighting outside today. I hear them chirp, 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 chirp. I had the dog out earlier, and the squirrels were yelling at him. It was pretty funny. Until the dog started barking, right? Then it's like, all right, okay. Because there is no off button for that once it starts, sadly. Other than removing him from the outdoors. Okay, got the shoulder here, top of the shoulder. One second here, it's the internet guy. What a nice guy. All right, so I was continually highlighting here. Pretty much what he told me is he has no idea why it's happening. But we have some stuff we can try. But I just need to be done with this. So. But he said no rush, obviously. Because, yeah, he said that the connection from the outside of the house is totally fine. And then on the inside, there's a ton of noise. But we don't have any... Like, there is nothing that's moved in the bedroom or anything around our router. And that's what I was explaining to him. Like, we've had no issues. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere... problems. So... Okay, and let's get the top of this thigh. Looks good. So, now what we need, a little bit of white. Just a little bit. See right here. Nothing crazy. Brush tip of white. Another brush full. I don't really need this to be crazy. I just need it to be like, maybe like a half step brighter. That's pretty bright. Okay. And we're zoomed in as far as I can. I moved my camera so it works a little bit better. For me at least. We'll do the interior little sinew there. Tops of all these muscles. And you can see we're just brightening things. It isn't like a whole new layer, right? We're just really trying to sharpen out our high points. Now the hand here, I totally forgot that last color application, but it's okay because all the details are so small, right, that it'll pick up the slack. This application. Then, let's see, let's get the sort of right-hand side here. And then the back, right-hand side going down, and right in the middle, pushing the paint. You can even use your finger to kind of dab. Like so. This top corner down a little bit, following the ridge of the back. Down that ridge. Let's do top of this little ridge. Back ridge. There you go. And you can see we're just sort of like sectioning out different parts of the body by doing so. Back here, I'll just do a little bit with some dots. This little rounded edge. Top of this thigh. Those sections. There you go. Move on to the face. Now then, this is where we can actually section out more of these gills. So I'm going to outline each little gill part. So they stand out a little bit more. Underneath the eye. Underneath the nose. And then straight down the middle like we did the other section. Taper it off. Just to make sure things are nice and bright, you can see. Here's the difference, right? Much brighter. Looks good. So let's go to the top of the tail and the back. And just kind of gently work our way down. Okay. Go to the other side. Let's compare these two actually now that we've got them here. So you can see, right, we're at the same level of brightness. Let me back it out. We're at relatively the same level of brightness, but the major difference here being that we just have so much more definition on the right. I like it more on the right. It makes it appear to be less sort of uniform, more menacing, right? Anytime you add more depth and contrast, things are going to look a bit more intimidating if they're a monster. Pushing it to the top of that muscle. Anytime I want something to look kind of shiny, I'll always do a few dots, very fine dots, sort of down the volume of the shape, like I'm doing here on these muscles, just because it adds sort of that differential volume. Like so. Okay. So now that we've got that, we can build in the rest of our colors here. Now, give me just 1 second to make sure I grabbed the right color here. I'm pretty sure I did. Yep, where are we? Where are we? Oh, there's only 4 of the zombie apocalypse kits in stock. Y'all better jump. All right, yeah, cool. Goblin skin is what we're looking at here. So I'm going to grab the goblin skin. It's not on the palette. And I'm just going to base coat all of our fins solid. You can taper a little bit towards the interior edge if you would like. It's not going to make a gigantic difference for you. And then let's go ahead and do the fin down the back of the tail. bottom of the tail. Less of it on this side, obviously. Okay. Then, up on the face, got our frill over here. And our frill over here. And then back of the elbow, both sides. Okay. We're going to let that dry. Now then, that being said, what do we got? So then we have heraldic red. Oops, sorry, let me spin this. So we're going to make a wash out of heraldic red. This will be sort of our first wash down. And then we'll make another one with some succubus kiss. But, so we're going to make a nice, probably 2-to-1 ratio water to paint. That's what you're looking at. And let's see if we got any dry parts here. Yeah, I'm still waiting on stuff to dry, but I can get started right here. So I'll go ahead and do a nice simple wash on this gill. You want it to be diluted enough to where you can pool it towards that right-hand edge, and then it'll just show the definition between all those little parts. Same thing over here. Same thing on the arm. Side of the arm. Got to wait on the rest of that. So while we're waiting on that, let me see what I did on the sword here. The sword, okay. So I'm going to grab intense brown. We're going to make a little bit of a glaze out of intense brown. Just a little. Nope, wrong color. Sorry. Okay, we got intense brown here. And then I'm just going to glaze it onto the bone sword, like this. Taking advantage of the zenithal. Now, if you don't have a zenithal, it's all good. Just go ahead and base coat it completely. You'll be highlighting up just the same as we are. You'll just have to do a little bit more highlighting. You can also wash it down further to add more of that definition that you'll lose. That's all I'm doing here, though, is bringing more pigment to the front, like that. The inside of the sword, we're just going to pretend that it exists. I'm going to add a little bit of color to it. But you can see it drying with that zenithal, right? Almost dry on the rest. Looking rad. Okay, with our heraldic red here, and I'm just going to get my finger in that. I'm going to go ahead and wash. Let me see. Yeah, let's just do the whole thing. So I'm going to wash down this entire area. Top of the ribs and all. We're going to re-highlight that up, so I'm not too concerned. Looks nice and intense. Heraldic red's a good red. A little bit more saturated than blood red, which is kind of like my default red that I use, but this is definitely a good contender for a if you're looking for just a go-to all the time red color. It's a good one. Okay. Rest of the tail. Now we're waiting again. You can see how it dried on the sword there. Easy peasy. So, now what I'm going to do... Actually, we need a little bit of white here. Who is at the front door? Mysterious people at my front door. Why are you at my front door? And who are you? That's the song that I came up with for my security camera. Let's see. That's really cool. So our internet service is so bad, I can't connect to any of our cameras. Amazing technology. All right, so white. And I'm going to take some of the goblin skin, mix it in with intense brown and some white. There we go. Just make a nice kind of neutrally, slightly orange brown. And I'm just going to go for, whoop, zooming in. I'm going to go for our edges, like so. And you can add scratches, everything like that, right? This is a old bony blade, so you can see what I did there. That angle was reflecting kind of oddly. Do the bottom edge. Even if you can't really see it, we know we should do it. I like how they've added these fish people. Know they're sentient enough to know, like, hey, we should add a serrated edge on the top of a blade. Fish people design decisions. And I'm going to add more white to this color. Do the same thing again, just less application this time. Make sure to get the back of the bones there. And then pretty much mostly just this tannish white color for the last little highlight doots. Let's see, so I'm going to do the back section here. And right here. And just adding some damage and scratches. The interior side not caring as much. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take that intense brown and do the straps. Whatever they are, the reeds, rope. I'm not even sure what parts they're holding together, right? I guess that's what's funny. If this was multiple bone pieces, but... Alright, so now we're going to take Succubus Kiss and make a wash out of Succubus Kiss. And I'll be applying this deeper into the recesses of all of our fins here. Now then, this time around, I'm only focusing... Now, did you do the back or the middle? Let me see. The back. So I'm going to focus on the tail end of each of the sections. I'm not focusing on the spine, right? But just the sort of webbing, the membrane, like so. Like how my security camera's like, there's someone moving around, but you can't see it. It's probably my new neighbor. They have a habit of taking phone calls on the porch. So the security camera goes off, and I just see feet from the other porch. Okay. See, I'm going to taper this off right here. There we go. And we got all kinds of noises happening on my phone. Normally I have all this stuff turned off. I'm sorry. I'll turn this all down. Go away, noises. Yeah, it's my neighbor. Okay. Okay. Now then. So I'm taking our goblin skin. I'm going to highlight up the spines here on his back. I just muted my phone. What is that? So weird. Guys, we're having insane tech problems today. I am at equal of a loss as you in figuring out why and what is happening here today. I think what's happening is like my phone is intermittently getting its push notifications because of whatever's happening with my internet service. So it's just like catching up randomly. Like when you go in and out of service places. All right, highlighting up. And I'm going to go one more highlight up on this. What just happened? I literally muted my phone. Guys. Volume. Oh, it did the media. Oh my god. It did the media volume. I'm so sorry, guys. Now she's quiet. Okay. Ridiculous. So, comparing the two, I like what we've done today. For sure. I think it's so much more dynamic. We still got creepy eyeballs to do. But I'm going to add a little bit of white to our goblin skin. That'll give us one more nice little highlight across the top of these ridges. Make sure you get this little pocket right there. It's a nice little added detail. Highlight it up one more time over here. Get that same pocket. Okay. So, now let's do some eyes. Grab some more white. Nice white eye. If you wanted it to be like an anglerfish, you could probably just leave it like that. Looking good. Oh, I did the inside of the mouth. I'm going to mix Heraldic Red in with some of our Succubus Kiss and just do the interior portion of the mouth. Like that. Just to make it simple. And boop, boop. We could do a kawaii fish if we wanted to make it look cute, but instead we'll do fish eye. Creepy. And one right in the middle. Sorry, not middle, but pointing forward. Pretty much just off to the right, off center to the right of each eye, and that'll get you nice, killer fish man eyes. Now, if we wanted to make him angry, we would add a little eyebrows. We're not going to do that. But that's pretty much it. I know these recorded videos are shorter than the live sessions because we don't really have anything to talk and joke about, mess with Justin, anything like that. But about an hour and 15 minutes instead of an hour and a half. Not too bad. I was expecting about an hour and a half today. So, but anyway, the base on this is just literally sand and baking soda. And I just add a wash that's sort of goblin skin. You can actually use the same color on top to make it look good. And then just some tiny baby seashells. But you can see the difference in layering. This one, I was showing less of those previous sort of early colors. And then this one, we're showing more of those colors. I also highlighted up the fin a little bit more. We can do that again. We can do a little bit more fin work here, make a match. Just a bit more. But I like the blue skin being the brightest feature here, not necessarily the fin. The other one, the fin was competing too much for attention. There you go. Just doing like the top 3 spines will be good. Like so. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. This technique obviously is similar to any other skin that we've ever done. It's just with super bright colors, so it's something that we're not used to doing all the time, but I really, really love this miniature. I can't wait to see what you guys have going on with yours. And that's pretty much it. Hopefully by next week I'll have this weird connection thing fixed. And if not, I'll just move. I'll just move to a new place and we'll just have the perfect internet, right? That's the easiest answer. So, but I appreciate you. Sorry again. Can't wait to see your teak champions. They look super, super rad every time somebody paints them up. And yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. And that's it. Who are we rating, Justin? Just kidding. This was pre-recorded. But all right. Take care, guys.